Hi friend. So by now you are aware of the how to use if function and the SUMIF function in Excel. Right now let's build up on this learning. So let's say if you want to use a SUMIF function with a logical condition, right? So say for example in this I have a student ID and score FM score of the students. So I want to sum all the score whose student ID is greater than 7 lakh. Okay, that is whose student ID is greater than 7000000, right? So if I use a simple SUMIF function, okay, so I give it a range. Do remember that in SUMIF this range here means the criteria range. So I give it the criteria range. It asks me for criteria. I say greater than or equal to 7000. So this is my student ID and I give it a sum range. Okay. So this is how we normally write a SUMIF function, and I close the bracket. Do you think this function will work? Let's see. Right. So it says that your formula contains an error. Okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So let me rewrite the function SUMIF. This is my range. My criteria is greater than equal to 7 lakh and my sum range is this. Okay, control bracket. Okay, so it says that your formula contains an error. The formula which I have given as, let me go to the top. Okay, so this is the simple SUMIF function, but we saw that here the Excel is throwing an error because we are using a logical condition as a criteria, right? So it's not that we cannot use a logical condition with a SUMIF function. There is a certain procedure we need to follow. It's not a very long process or as in a procedure. It's a simple thing. What I have to do is I have to put this condition in an inverted comma. That's the only thing I need to do, right? So if I put my logical condition criteria, that is this equal to and greater than sign in inverted comma, the function will work fairly well, right? So you see that if I don't put this criteria logical condition in an inverted comma, Excel will pop up an error. But if I put this in an inverted comma, this will work fine. I may not put this entire criteria range in double inverted comma. I can simply put only the criteria range in inverted comma and I'll use an ampersand, right? So I will remove this ampersand, remove this double inverted comma. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving it a criteria range, I'm giving it a logical condition within inverted comma, I'm using an ampersand to combine this two criteria function, and I'm giving it a sum range. Okay, in that case Excel will work fine. So now I'm getting the sum of the FM score of all the students here in this list whose ID is greater than 7 lakh, right? Similarly, I can, you apply any other logical condition and criteria in this case. So do remember that henceforth we can use SUMIF with a logical condition. The only thing to remember in mind is you have to put the logical condition in the inverted comma. Okay. Similarly, let's build up on this. So taking another example just to have a better understanding and application of this function. So I want to calculate the sales revenue, okay, for the last 7 days. Okay, so let me first because this data might not have anything in this because this was created a week back or something. So let me just simply add 10 to it. Okay, don't worry guys, we will understand all this in a while. So I just add all this. Don't worry about what I am doing right now. We will understand all this in some time when we look at the paste special window. Right now all I am doing is I am just creating a database with some current dates and all. I am just making sure that we have some data which is slightly recent. So we have 11th Jan. Okay, let me do a quick data. Okay, let's not confuse. Fine. So okay, so I want to calculate the sales revenue for last 7 days, right? So in this case you see again that it is a SUMIF function, but along with the SUMIF function I will also need certain logical condition to be used. Now let's see how to do that. So what will be my logical condition in this case in the first place? My logical condition will be that the dates, okay, which is this date, that is my criteria range, it should be greater than today minus 7 day, and less than today. That is less than today's date. Okay, so let's see how do we write that. First of all, since we have more than one condition in this case, which function we will use? You are absolutely correct. We will use SUMIFS function, IFS. Okay, so I start with a SUMIF function. I give it a criteria. I give it a sum range. Sorry. Okay, the moment I give it a sum range, Excel asks me for a criteria range. Okay, so what will be my criteria range? Range is easy to identify. So this is my criteria range. That is the date. Okay, now comes the tricky part. So what is my first criteria? My first criteria is that this date should be greater than or equal to today minus 7, right? Whatever is today's date. So I say equal to, greater than, equal to, sorry, within inverted comma, greater than, equal to, and okay, today. So if I want to calculate today's date, so I can just simply write in a formula in Excel like this. Okay, again, don't worry about this today's function. We will study it in detail when we study the date function. For the time being, just remember that in Excel, whenever you write a formula today and two parentheses, Excel will give you the today's date, right? So I am saying today minus 7. Is it fine? So what I am doing, I am just creating a SUMIF function. I have given it the sum range. I have given it my criteria range, and the first criteria, my first criteria is that the dates which is mentioned here should be greater than or equal to today minus 7. That's all I have done. Okay, I give it a second condition. I give it a criteria range again. That is my criteria range 2. And I give it a criteria that it should be less than or equal to, you are absolutely right, today. Right? So I say, okay, I missed an ampersand here. Excel will not recognize simply without ampersand. Okay, so okay, now I have completed my formula and I close the bracket. Before I press enter, just let me explain you what we are doing. So we are trying to calculate the sales revenue for the last 7 days, that is last 7 days from today's, and I want to keep this formula dynamic, that is today is not decided, but whenever I open this Excel file, from that date, the last 7 days sales data, sum of the sales revenue I want, right? So what I am doing is, I am giving it a sum range, criteria range. My first criteria is that the date should be greater than or equal to today minus 7, okay, that is the last 7 days, and it should be less than or equal to today, clear? And I press enter, right? So you see that Excel gives me the revenue, okay, it sums up all the sales revenue for the last 7 days. So this is another example how we can use the SUMIF function or the SUMIF function along with the logical condition, right? One more thing we have noticed here in this formula is that we can use another function or formula in an Excel within a formula. So in this case we have used within SUMIFs, we have used today's formula, right? So if you just to be clear, so see, if I simply write today formula, okay, that is today and two open and close bracket, you see that Excel gives me date as on today, which is 23rd January in my case. Clear? Fine. So this is another example and application of the SUMIF function along with the logical condition. Are we guys clear on this? Good. Let's move on. Okay, now let's talk about if error. Okay. So you guys have already seen that there are different types of error which we have in our Excel function, right? We have also now studied the if function. So now let's try and combine this two function or use some inbuilt function which is there in the Excel to deal with the error which we have in our Excel, right? Now if we talk about error, okay, there are certain errors which are unintentional, right? If we see those kind of error, we definitely have to go and rectify them because it's an unintentional. We don't want this error to be there. In some cases, errors are inherent, right? You can't do anything about it. Let's see an example. So this is again a simple table. I have the revenue for the 5 product line for the 2 year 2013 and 14, and I want to calculate the revenue growth. So in Excel, how do you calculate the revenue growth? Current year divided by last year minus 1. It's not only limited to Excel, but generally this is the formula how we calculate the revenue growth in a simple manner, right? And I get my revenue growth. I can copy paste this formula for the rest of the product line, right? You can see that for all other product line I am getting a fair answer, okay, except for product line number 4, right, which is but obvious because the product line 4 didn't exist in 2013, so Excel by default take it as 0, right? So anything divided by 0 will give you a div 0 error, right? Now in this case, even if the error is there, right, there is nothing wrong about it. It's not that we are doing a calculation error or a formula error. The error is there because the data is not there, the data is missing. right? So let's see how to deal with this kind of an error in Excel, right? So Excel has an inbuilt function called if error. Okay, so let me just write this formula. Okay, if error. Okay, so if error function basically has two syntax. It's asks you for the value. Now this value can be a fixed value, a constant value, hard punched, or it can be a formula like we have in our case, C3 divided by B3 minus 1. Okay, so Excel asks you that you give the value, and if the value is an error, tell me what to do, right? So my second argument here is that if the value, this entire value, if it has an error, tell me what to do. So let's say I say just give me a blank data. So if I want a blank data in Excel, I just give two inverted comma without anything in between. If I want to give space, I will give a space in between. If I want to make it 0, I don't need to give inverted comma, because do remember that Excel recognizes the numbers. So I just simply give a 0, and so on and so forth. So I can choose whatever I want. I can also give a text function here. So I can write anything within the text and say if the error is there, please throw this display output, right? So in this case, I am saying that if an error is there, just simply give me a blank cell, right? So I'm just putting two inverted comma without anything in between. So how will Excel look at this function? Excel will do this calculation, C3 divided by B3 minus 1. If the error is there, Excel will give me a blank space. If the error is not there, Excel will just give me the output of this value, right? So let's press an enter and see, right? So we saw that since the error was not there, Excel is giving me 7% as an output. Let me copy paste this formula, and you can see that our fourth product line, which was earlier throwing an error, is now giving me a blank space, because that's the formula I have given to the Excel. Clear? So this is how an if error function works in Excel. What we need to do is simply ask Excel to, we simply define to the Excel that what should be done if an error is there in the formula or in the value you are calculating. Clear? So it's a very simple formula, combination of if and the error. Now earlier, and in some cases we might need this is error function. Let's understand what is that. I'm talking about is error. Okay. In fact, in from 2003 and earlier version, if error function was not existing, right? So if error function was introduced in 2007 only. Before this, we used to use is error. Now let's see what is an is error first and how to use it. Okay, let me just paste it here so that I can continue my calculation here. Okay, so is error function. Okay, you give it a value. Again, my value will be C3 divided by B3, sorry, yeah, C3 divided by B3 minus 1. Okay, so I give it a value. Okay, you can see that Excel is not asking me for any other argument in this case. So, but obvious, is error function only gives an output whether it's true or false. So it only checks whether the error is there or not. If the error is there, it will say true. If the error is not there, it will say false. So in this case, we didn't have an error. And you see that only the fourth product line where the error was there, Excel is throwing you a true. That is, the error is there. So you are checking whether the error is there. Is error? Excel is saying yes, error is there. Right? Now, if we use our logical mind, we can combine this is error with an if function. Okay, we already know how does an if function works and what are the syntax. So I have given it a logical test. This entire thing is error, including is error is my logical test. This is error will give me true or false. So I tell Excel what to do if it's true. That is, what to do if the error is there. So I say give me a blank space. What to do if the error is not there? I will again have to rewrite the formula, right? So my formula will be simply now. So it says that if the error is not there, then please do this calculation, that is current year divided by last year minus 1, and I close the bracket, right? So let's just quickly review what we are doing here. We are combining is error and the if function. So first we are using an is error to check whether the error is there. Then we are using if function to say Excel that what to do if the error is there, right? That is, give me a blank space if it's true. If this error condition is true, that is the logical condition, give me a blank space. If it's not true, then give me the value. What should be the value? C3 divided by B3 minus 1, and I press enter. Don't worry about this date function. I just need to go and change the formatting to general. Okay, or I can change it to rather percentage in this case, right? And I copy paste the formula. So you can see that only the fourth product line which had error in this case. So Excel is giving me a blank space as specified by me. Otherwise, for all the other cases, it's giving me the value as required. Of course, this is error function is tedious vis-a-vis if error. We have to rewrite the formula again. So just imagine that if this is a very big function, we'll have to copy paste this function again. But if error is a very simplified version of it. Although we will see that there are certain cases in which we need to use the is error. Rather, we don't have a choice, but we'll be forced to use the is error along with the if function. Clear, guys? So what we have studied in this class, we have studied the sum if function and the sum if function with the logical condition, and we have studied how to deal with certain Excel error, that is the if error and the is error function, right? Again, as we always say, there is a bonus here with the sum if, that you can use the same logic, that is the same inverted comma logical condition, even if you are using count if or average if, right? So the sum if function, count if function and average if function works exactly the same manner. Okay guys, see you again for the next class. In the next class we will study lookup function. See you then. Bye bye.